20 people already waiting. I think we're already live. 1 second.
All right, I'm going to tweet it out real quick too that we just are finally on.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think we're live. Hello, chat. Please let us know if the sound is good. People are already requesting info about the Huddle Drop. We'll get to this. Yeah, let me also make a quick tweet. Okay. The blue friends are on fire. We are live now. Boom. Okay, so yeah, first of all, sorry for being late. There was some unexpected last minute real world things that we had to deal with. But here we are with a slight delay. Everyone in chat, make sure that you can hear us first, and second, share this video, share the link to this video with your friends on Twitter. Tag us also, because I'm here with Dan. Dan doesn't need an introduction. He's already been here on the channel. He's been at Cosmoverse. I think some people of you have already met him also in person. Very, very active, very passionate and dedicated around all things Cosmos. And building Sentinel with his company Exidio, where he's the CEO of. So Dan, how's it going? How are you?
Awesome, man. Flex the muscle. I want to see you just broke out of jail. That takes some skills, man. I'm impressed.
Yeah, I mean, things happen, but yeah, we're gonna fix it. But yeah, how is everything on your side? You're in Puerto Rico, right?
Yeah, it's great. I don't know if people can see. This is gonna be weird, but it's the water right there.
Oh wow!
So sometimes when after a long day, get able to jump in or take a conference call from the oceans. It's been good, man.
Yeah, I mean, here in Tulum, it's also, you know, just having the beach close by. I think it's a different vibe. It's a different
100%.
So especially in my case, you know, being German, we don't have that. It's always cold and rainy and stuff like that. For me, it's paradise here.
My last name, I'm German as well.
Got a little bit tanned already and
yeah, I'm from Wisconsin, and we're all German there.
Nice. Yeah. So, yeah, paradise. And I hope to visit you in Puerto Rico as well. I've never been there, but I heard there's also a big crypto scene there, and some influencers, and Peter Schiff lives there. Have you ever met him there yet?
I haven't seen Peter Schiff. And then who's the dude that's the boxer that's like the reality TV show guy?
Jake Paul, Logan Paul.
Yeah, Jake Paul, Logan Paul are here, and Brock Pierce was, I think, one of the first people. But actually, I've met a lot of really cool people here. So actually going to be taking out a catamaran with a bunch of people from Crypto tomorrow. Brendan from Secret from Whispernode will be on the boat with us. So shout out to BK.
And if you're in Puerto Rico, in your case, I would hit up Dan to get on that boat maybe last second.
There you go.
To jump.
We got a few more spaces.
With some crypto people, that's really cool. But yeah, I mean, last time we talked, I think that was already 4 or 5 months ago, when you still just had the first app, which was an Ethereum. Not only you launched the actual app, the actual product, which I'm already an avid user of. Coney Daddy made this amazing video to break the ice and publish it. So why don't you give a little bit of a context? What happened in the past couple of months since we last spoke here on my channel?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I appreciate it, man. So you're dead right. So we, even though we had gone on mainnet as far as the token and the blockchain being native on Cosmos and IBC, we hadn't pivoted all the applications over to our native blockchain. And then that did happen. And so the first product we brought to market, which we announced at Cosmoverse, was which Cosmoverse was amazing. I'm stoked for Cosmoverse 2022. I'm bringing the whole Sentinel crew this time. Yeah, no one has a choice. They have to come to Colombia this time around. So at Cosmoverse, we launched the proof of concept app, and that was not an Exidio branded app. It was a Sentinel branded app, and it was just a peer-to-peer app where you could connect to nodes directly and offer bandwidth and connect to people that are offering bandwidth by sending DVPN tokens to the app. And then since that peer-to-peer kind of proof of concept app, we've launched our own native Exidio applications on the network. And so I know that's the one that you're using and the one that Konya Daddy put information out. And so that's both on iOS and Android. And we've had several updates and iterations on that app so far. And so that's going well. It's functioning really well. We've had a couple things that we're still ironing out a little bit on Android, and we're still working through updates. It's been really flawless on iOS. And now that's kind of the latest stage as far as the product where we've developed. And we have more updates on mobile devices. And then we have updates for desktop devices. And then we have updates for desktop devices for offering bandwidth, products for offering bandwidth. And then after those desktop applications, then we're looking into hardware devices. We're working with the company right now on a specific hardware device that's tailored only for offering bandwidth. And then we're also working on an Exidio partnership with Solar Labs Wi-Fi router. So lots in the works, but yeah, it's been busy, but we're consistently following up with people in the community to get feedback on mobile apps and how to improve them.
Yeah, and I was just pulling it up here. Proof that I'm a user. The Exidio app is on. Boom, connected. It's very simple. You can download it on your phone. And you also need some DVPN to purchase the bandwidth, right? I think we can talk about the whole tokenomics of DVPN, the Huddle Drop and all these kind of things, and also what you just alluded to, the hardware in a second. But maybe for those that are new, and I know there's so many people that are completely new now to Cosmos and maybe even to crypto in a bigger picture, can you maybe compare or share what is the difference between a blockchain-based decentralized virtual private network or virtual private network on a blockchain and one that we know like NordVPN or Surfshark or all these like big VPNs that we know out there? What are the core differences between the two?
Yeah, no, definitely. Thanks. And like you said, I've been on the channel before, but there's been so many people that have been coming into the Cosmos ecosystem. It's been really cool. I think Cosmos ecosystem as a whole is finally like having its time to shine, and people are realizing how easy it is to get access, to be able to use osmosis, to be able to participate in DeFi. So we're seeing a flood of people coming in. And so for those who don't know, Sentinel is a network for offering and sharing bandwidth. So people can route traffic through any node and get access to decentralized VPN. And people can also be the ones on the other side supplying the VPN, supplying the bandwidth and earning crypto for doing so. So at the end of the day, some of the benefits you would look for in a VPN are also some of the benefits you would look for in a decentralized blockchain-based VPN. You're getting access to private connection online, getting an encrypted connection, and being able to change your IP address and route your traffic through a different IP address and get the benefits of doing so. And not only are you having the privacy, but then on the flip side, being able to route your traffic through a different IP address, you're getting access to content that you might not otherwise. Some internet service providers, some nation states have restrictions on what content you get access to, but with a VPN, you can get access to that content. So you're getting the same benefits from a centralized VPN that you would from the Sentinel decentralized VPN. But with Sentinel, you are getting a provably end-to-end encrypted connection. So centralized VPN companies are, using AWS or Google Cloud or their own servers, and they're maintaining all of the nodes on the network. So, you mentioned some of those companies, they are in control of all of the nodes. And so instead of your internet service provider being able to log your data, you're just giving that opportunity to the VPN company that has all the nodes and can log and traffic your data, and then they could be reselling it. And then that could also be going back to government agencies if they're looking to get information on what internet traffic you're doing. And on top of that, VPN companies that are in a centralized model, oftentimes their IP addresses start getting tagged and identified as VPN addresses, and then they get put on a blacklist. And so, Michael, right now you're traveling, you're in Mexico, you love it, but you might want to get access to internet in Germany, and you use a VPN, get connected to an IP address in Germany, but then it doesn't freaking work because the company, the website that you're trying to use, whether it's Netflix or whatever, has signed up for this blacklist and denied all those IP addresses access to their service. With the Sentinel network, it's peer-to-peer. So you might be routing your traffic through your grandma that's offering bandwidth in Germany. And with her node, it's just a residential node, and still able to get access to that German Netflix that you wouldn't with your VPN company.
And here, proof, I'm actually routing through a German Wi-Fi here.
There it is, man.
German server, yeah.
That's great. And another huge benefit is, instead of kind of the Web 2 model, right, where like centralized big companies, kind of conglomerate and become like Goliath, and they have huge profit margins, and they resell your data. Now you're offering bandwidth peer-to-peer, and you're paying the individuals that are offering it in the Web 3. So it's really cool. Even at Exidio, right, we're building the front-end applications, but we're not taking any of the revenue if you're paying peer-to-peer directly to a node. If you want to do a subscription model and you're paying via fiat, there's a small fee to be able to do that and for us to be able to keep the lights on. But almost all the revenues, and even in that model, are going directly to the node hosts. So this is a way that you're contributing and giving back to the individuals that are offering the value to the service, not just the companies building the front end.
So it's basically, Sentinel gives you private access to the uncensored internet. I think is that a fair statement?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And the people that you're paying are individuals that are offering the value to the network.
Yeah. Awesome. And so I think from a content perspective, obviously it makes a lot of sense to use a DVPN, right? There's so much content being censored on the internet. But also, I think from a security perspective, so maybe you can talk a little bit about that, especially in a crypto world where people have 25 different wallets, and we have Kepler and MetaMask, and then we log into exchanges, and we deal with money, right? And how do you store your private keys? And sometimes if you connect to an unsecure internet or Wi-Fi, it's very easy to hack. Is there any benefits from a security perspective, especially for avid crypto users and travelers, that connect to different Wi-Fis all the time?
Yeah, exactly. That's the main benefit is if you're using like a public Wi-Fi, and this is like a Wi-Fi that everyone has access to, and especially if you're connecting to sites that are like not HTTPS sites and they're not secure connection, having a VPN where you're routing your traffic through a different secured connection, a different secured channel, can secure you and can really give you better security. Because if you're using public Wi-Fi networks, you're exposing yourself, and a more sophisticated hacker can be able to navigate that and get access to your files.
Yeah, that's why everyone, please always use VPNs, in the best case DVPNs, which I think there are not too many out there. I think you guys are one of the leaders in our market. I remember there's one project called Orchid. Don't know if they're still doing that, or if they pivoted in the meantime. Yeah, this, and then obviously also I have to, like, this one video that I have to make that is long overdue is like how to secure your coins, like how to use your ledger in connection to Kepler. I think this is another angle on a more like how to protect your coins perspective
100%.
that needs to be done. But in terms of like having a peer-to-peer end-to-end encrypted connection, I think something like Sentinel makes so much sense, especially for crypto native people, right? So can you talk a little bit about the core innovations from the first version of the Sentinel app? Because you guys have been around for a couple of years, right? And back then fully on Ethereum, but now it's all on Cosmos. So can you talk a little bit about the current app? How is it architectured? Is it entirely built on Cosmos? At which point does Cosmos come in Cosmos technology? Maybe you can share a little bit about the core innovations for the second version compared to the first one.
Yeah. So the first one was a test net, and while people were offering bandwidth nodes, that all ended up routing through a master node, and so it was more centralized, and it was a lot easier to like distribute rewards and have all of the information in one. But now leveraging Cosmos IBC and being able to have everything in our own sovereign blockchain, we are able to have anyone offer bandwidth and then get paid directly for that bandwidth, and we can prove that they've used that that bandwidth has been consumed. So that's something that is really cool. And so whether that's that you're paying with fiat. So what we're doing at Exidio is we're looking to build products to make anyone be able to easily connect to this network and be able to participate in Web3 and be able to pay people peer-to-peer and get involved with crypto. So I know you saw the Coney Daddy video, the tutorial on how to get set up. And even if you download the app and get used to it, you don't have any crypto whatsoever. you can pay with credit card and be able to buy DVPN tokens and start to, use the token within the ecosystem and get access to decentralized bandwidth. So in that regard, it's really cool. And the next iteration is what I'm really excited for, is making it even easier for people that are just used to consumer apps that have worked really well, like you mentioned Surfshark or NordVPN. The mobile applications will have a subscription plan where you can say, I just want to be able to pay, $50 for the year and have unlimited bandwidth, or I want to pay for $4 for a month and have bandwidth, or whatever the case may be. And so we're going to set up a custom subscription plan, and that's going to be the next big update for the app. And you've seen some noise, you've seen us talk about the apps a little bit online, but it hasn't been like a full-on blitz. And that's because we really want to have the subscription plans and the app working and functioning exactly where we want, so that we can have a mass adoption push and start doing more paid advertisements and really kind of like compete with centralized VPNs on the marketing front and getting this product in front of people.
Yeah, and I think that's really cool that you can just simply use your DVPN. You can also buy it within the app right now. Is it correct?
Exactly. Yeah. So right now you can purchase points and top up your wallet natively within the app with a credit card, and it works pretty well. It's an easy system, but it's not the cheapest if you're only going to get a small amount of VPN. And so we really want to have a traditional subscription plan and make sure that our prices are even cheaper than what people are accustomed to with their centralized VPN companies.
Yeah. And then can you talk a little bit about the stats? I think you launched, what was it, like 2 weeks ago or something? I think in the first app you had quite a few users there. What is the current stats, if you know, on how many users you have, and how do you think you can grow that?
Yeah, so it's gone really well. If you go to stats.sentinel.co, you can see that the numbers have consistently grown. Right now, there's over 200 nodes active on the network, and that number has consistently gone up and gone up. There are 150 people using the decentralized VPN at this moment, and that, like, even today, like the nodes and the current users is a little bit lower than like yesterday in the past few days. We had 400 concurrent users as of yesterday. So we've had like quite a bit of activity. It's continuing to grow, but we haven't really done a bigger marketing push. And so that's where we want to see this being adopted by people that are just expecting to have a consistent VPN, and they're not really, necessarily in the Telegram chats every day and big supporters of Sentinel. We definitely love that community, but also we just want this to be a consumer app that everyone's relying on a daily basis. So yeah, we've seen the numbers, like you said, if you go to stats.sentinel.co, you can see that the numbers are consistently going up. And we're also working on a custom explorer helped built by Exidio. It'll not only be an explorer, blockchain explorer, to see what's happening on chain with the token and governance and validators and transfers, but it'll also be an explorer to see what's happening across the DVPN network. So how many nodes are online, what's the amount of bandwidth that's being consumed, how many people are connected to nodes, a lot of the data points. And so what I think that's another thing that really differentiates our network from like a centralized VPN is the amount of, because everything's on chain, the amount of transparency you can have. So people can see exactly what's happening across the network, and there's no way to kind of BS it. And I know that really aligns with my ethos as well, which it's pretty cool that we're able to have this display kind of in real time.
Yeah, and I think one thing that I'm personally also very much looking forward to is the desktop version, right? Because I think, especially in the crypto world, right, a lot of people work predominantly from their laptops. Yeah. Is there any timeline when that is being launched?
Yeah, we're in March, and it's the launch will happen this month, or we're in February, and it'll happen in February. I can't speak right now. So when I say it'll happen, the Linux desktop application will definitely be out in February, and hopefully the iOS app will be out by the end of this month. If not, it'll be in early March, and then the Windows PC app will be the last one, and I can't know exactly the timeline on that, but I'm hoping that by the end of March. But we're definitely really close. We've been doing, we've already had some people in the community that have been testing out the Linux app. It's functioning pretty well right now, so definitely planning on releasing that later this month, and then iOS, and then the Mac desktop app after that.
Nice. Yeah,
What laptop do you have?
I have a Mac.
Okay, so all right, you're coming.
Last. Thank you, Dan.
No, you're second. The PC is the one that'll take the longest.
Okay,
We just we're like still kind of like ironing out RPC endpoints and stuff for the PC and making sure that everything functions well.
You talked earlier a little bit about hardware devices. Can you expand a little bit on that? Some people have already also asked, like, we got a lot of questions. We'll go through this in a second, but a lot of people have asked around the DVPN router. So can you talk, I mean, first of all, explain what the hardware devices in Sentinel are, and then what's the timeline for that?
Yeah, so there's a few different hardware devices that we want to bring to market. And one is a kind of custom device that's going to ideally support multiple networks, not just the Sentinel network. And this is still under wraps, and we're working with a team to kind of build this out. But this will be a really cool, like, DVPN mining device, but it can also be a mining device to mine other Web3 protocols and offer resources to those networks. And so that's something we're working on. That device will be exclusively a device to offer your bandwidth to the network and be able to earn crypto for doing so, and also be able to offer resources to other Web3 protocols. That's not a full router. That's just like a DVPN miner. And then we're also working on a full, at Exidio, partnering with Solar Labs, working on a router that'll have the ability to offer a traditional Wi-Fi signal and then an additional Wi-Fi signal if you want to make sure that you're getting VPN access and end-to-end encrypted connection for all your devices, instead of having to run a separate client on your mobile and a separate client on your desktop. We want to have a Wi-Fi router that offers end-to-end encrypted connection for all your devices. And that router will also be a DVPN miner, where you can offer your bandwidth to the network and earn income and be able to get access to free VPN by just earning the tokens and then being able to use those to be able to pay off your VPN. And that's something that we're building at Exidio and Solar Labs. There's another company out there in Digitus that is also working on a router, but I can't really speak to their progress or their process. I'm not really involved with that. The thing is, with the Sentinel network, it's a peer-to-peer network and anyone can build on it. And so at Exidio, we're looking to build really good products, but there's other companies also building on the network.
Yeah, I also saw, I think that was on your Twitter, that there's some other company that is building also kind of like a VPN, DVPN front end using Sentinel technology. Is that also something that you could technically white label the whole tech stack and
absolutely
platform? We're
actually in conversations with 6 different companies or individuals that are looking to build their own white labels right now. So Peter, our COO, he's been a rock star. He's been leading a lot of those conversations. And so as we really complete the desktop and mobile applications, then we'll be able to really white label that and customize it and be able to bring a lot more companies on. So Exidio, we're just one of the many companies that are going to be building on this kind of growing, ever-growing network.
Interesting, yeah. So if the people from NordVPN or Surfshark are watching right now, then get familiar with Sentinel. Maybe that's something.
Well, look at this. Like Jamie Dimon, right? How many times has he hated on Bitcoin? How many times he said that it's a fraud? Didn't he say that if he found anyone trading at Chase, he was going to fire them? And now look at what he's saying. Oh, all of his institutional clients are getting crypto exposure. They're setting up a crypto trading desk, and Chase is going all in on crypto, and he's had to eat his words. Web3 protocols, this is an industry that you're not going to be able to stop. We're having business models that are better for users, and it's a better user experience, and it's a cheaper price. And so either you adapt and stay relevant, or
or you die. Yeah, I mean, it's the same like with that's actually that's a whole point, I think, of crypto, is like the user experience is just so much better, right? Like interacting with your bank compared to farming on osmosis. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
What more do you want? Like,
yeah, but I will say this is where I think like the big bosses come into play. Legacy finance has been really horrible user experience for decades, but Web2 protocols, like Web2 companies that are internet native, have actually gotten really good with user experience. So, some of the companies in VPN do make it really easy to use their VPN products. or, Facebook. Not a big fan of the company, but their products work very well.
Yeah.
So that's actually the biggest gap, I think, is for us to really compete with some of the Web2 native companies that have really mastered user experience, being able to match them at that user experience while being able to provide more value and bringing value back to users on the platform. So I do think that that's where DeFi has also taken off a lot, is because the user experience is so bad in traditional finance. And for us to take on some, Web3 protocols taking on legacy Web 2.0 players, we really need to have a premium user experience.
Yeah, I think the user experience is definitely a big thing. But also, the other hand, I think Web2 companies, they will always have this struggle that since they are centralized and have single points of failure, these points of failure eventually will fail, right? There will be outages, there will be shutdowns, there will be censorship, they will face regulations,
Exactly.
right?
Yep.
You can't bring Satoshi in court. Like there's, I think the decentralized world in the long term is much more sustainable if every single aspect of it is decentralized, right? I mean, Akash is also doing great things in the cloud computing industry,
Exactly.
right? And a lot of nodes on other chains are running on centralized servers, right? If AWS chooses to stop offering their services to crypto people, then it would have an impact on the crypto world, right? So we have to decentralize every single layer of crypto.
Exactly.
To say, oh, this is actually the decentralized Web3 that we're building.
Amen. And then at the final layer, the end user front end, that needs to have a great user experience. Because let's say, for example, Spotify says that we're going to cut out these episodes for Joe Rogan, and people are pissed. The only way you're going to actually get people to leave Spotify and use a different platform is if the new platform that they use is as easy to use as Spotify is. So that's kind of the end game, but that's why like at Exidio, we're really focusing on user experience and making sure that the app itself, like you're using it, is easy to use. Because that's the only way we're actually going to really see significant adoption.
Yeah, and I think also the another big part as the world gets more and more gamified is embedding some sort of like gamification model within the product, right? I think that's one of the biggest success factors of osmosis, right? Where like we all love to like daily claim there, and the user interface is amazing, and playing around and finding pools and so many different strategies you can brainstorm and do. So I think that's also another cool thing. That's why I'm very convinced that we're in the right train, especially on the Cosmos train, right? So what I always when I talk with other people about Sentinel, like, man, these guys are cool because they're one of the first ones to migrate and basically recognize the power of Cosmos and then fully migrate over to Cosmos from Ethereum, right?
Yeah.
And in the first interview, for those that are new, please watch that, because we talk more about this migration process, how it was to like implement all these, technology stacks and IBC and all these kind of things. But maybe now, since it's been half a year or something, how do you see Sentinel fitting into the Cosmos ecosystem? And maybe you can expand a little bit on your views on Cosmos as a whole ecosystem and project in itself.
Yeah. So shoot, I saw the tweet earlier today. It was an image of the Atom token, and then it was like on an island, and then there were a bunch of like ships that had the Atom token on it, traveling between all these different blockchains. It had, Solana and Avalanche and Luna and Ethereum. And I think that, the vision and the vision early on from people like Ethan of what like the Internet of Blockchains is going to look like and how we're going to actually be able to have true interoperability is pretty prescient. And so I think that like this is starting to get proven out now. So I think that it's one thing that makes the Cosmos SDK so great is you can build your own custom blockchain, and it can have the specific parameters that you need. But it's still its own sovereign chain. You can have your own individual governance, your own security, but then still be able to function as if every token was like an ERC20 as far as composability, as far as interoperability. And I think that that's the direction we're headed. So I see Sentinel in a very similar regard to kind of like you mentioned, Akash, right? There's going to be all different types of protocols, whether they're something as interesting or unique as like Region focusing on carbon credits, or it's decentralizing the web stack, which I believe us and Akash are perfect examples of doing that at the bandwidth layer and at the cloud hosting layer. So I think that we're going to see more Web3 protocols start building their own IBC module, and especially when we have shared security, a lot of projects are going to be connecting to the IBC. Yeah.
I think the post that you saw was yesterday. I made a video with Basil about introducing Cosmos to newbies. This was just spontaneous and random, but people seem to like it. Yeah, let's move on to some of the community questions. There's a lot, because we have to run in a few minutes. And we're already half an hour, man. Time is flying. So there's a lot of questions about DVPN as a native token of Sentinel. Maybe before we get into some specific questions, can you share a little bit about one, the tokenomics side of things, you know, the supply side, the inflation, the staking, blah blah blah. And on the other side, the actual utility and kind of like use cases of DVPN within Sentinel and whatever you guys are building.
Sure. So on the kind of tokenomics, just on the crypto side, the DVPN token is used to secure the network, right? For staking and delegating to validators to be able to participate in governance and to secure the chain. And so it's, you know, delegated proof of stake network. And the tokenomics were designed so that there's a lot of incentive for people to participate in the network, hold the token, stake the token. So with that, obviously the APIs are pretty attractive, the APY. Right now, it's 43% annualized to stake the token. And then obviously if you're also staking the token, earning your staking rewards, and you're redelegating those, the compounding staking rewards are closer to 60%. So there's a pretty significant staking incentive to do so. But then also we're getting very involved within the Cosmos DeFi ecosystem. We were one of the first projects launching right away at the onset with Osmosis. And we've had a ton of people providing liquidity for the DVPN Osmo pool, the DVPN Atom pool. We're looking to get on JunoSwap. We want to make sure that we're like being as active and supporting all the great work that's happening across Cosmos ecosystem. We're also on SIF chain. We've had incentivized pools on SIF chain. So on the crypto side, there's a lot of reasons just to hold the token and stake it or provide LP because of the additional incentives. And we're going to be working again on providing not only just Osmo rewards or like SIF chain rewards, but also providing additional DVPN rewards for providing LP. So that's something that I know is happening. But again, on that side, I'm leading Exidio. I'm not in control of the decisions that are made as far as the token and how the token functions. I'm leading the software development company. So I don't have the autonomy to really make those decisions. And what I would encourage people to do is if they want to see like something change in the tokenomics of the coin, get a bunch of people together, get them, hammer out an idea, put it in Google Doc, draft it a lot, make sure that it's a sound idea, and you can put up a governance proposal. And this is a DAO, so anyone can help kind of move and shift the protocol to think what's the long-term success of it. So if you have ideas to continue to improve the tokenomics, that's definitely one way to do it.
Awesome. Yeah, that's really cool. Highly encouraged. In the decentralized world also means that everyone has at least a little bit of responsibility. If you're interested in the protocol and you hold some tokens, right, you're already holding financial stakes, so it makes sense to also at least keep track and maybe propose ideas and come up with ways to improve the network that adds value to it. Okay, so let's get into some questions. Obviously, the hottest one, maybe we can get that off the table right away, is the Huddle Drop. I think it was announced a couple of weeks ago. What's the update and the latest with the Huddle Drop?
Again, it puts me in the same position. So I'm leading Exidio, right? I'm not the one in control of what happens with the tokens and what happens with the foundation. The best thing would be to ask in the Telegram community and get more information there. Some of the admins there have more information. I mean, I can't, it's just not in my purview. And if you wanted to move that forward, you could actually draft something and put it in the Telegram community and get feedback on it, on a proposal of like when you think we should have some announcement on when the Sentinel Foundation should have an announcement on when that should go live and then how it should be executed. That would be really amazing to help kind of move those programs forward. But it's something that I don't have any control of, and I really don't have any insight as to the timeline either.
Jane is asking, what are the costs for starting and maintaining a bandwidth mining node to contribute to the network?
Awesome. That's a great question, Jane. So the cost is actually zero. If you go to handyhost.computer, yeah, the URL handyhost.computer, you can download the software and start configure it and start offering your bandwidth to the network right now. The cost is that you already are paying should already be the cost you're paying for your internet service right now. And so if you have a good Wi-Fi connection and you have a reliable connection, you want to offer some of that up to the bandwidth or to the network, then you can do so right now. You just be able to need to configure the handy host software. And then like we mentioned earlier in the video, after we get the desktop applications for connecting to nodes and getting access to Decentralized VPN, then we're going to be launching desktop applications to much more easily configure offering a bandwidth node to the network.
Awesome. Yazin is asking, I don't know if that's related. Any explanation of why I can't use Netflix, Zalando, or school-related cells while using Exidio DVPN?
Yes, and let's follow up in the Telegram chat. I haven't heard that actually to date. I've known that every time that I've logged into Exidios and had a secure connection on the Exidio DVPN, the reason is if you go to what'smyipaddress.com, it'll show where your IP address is and if it actually is routing from that node. And so the only way that would be the case is if that node doesn't also have access to that content. But that's surprising to me, to be honest. So have to follow up with you in Telegram, and we want to iron that out. That's definitely something that we need to make sure that nodes are getting access to content.
Yeah, but maybe as a short-term solution, maybe try a different node and see if it works then, because yeah, it should work, should be fully uncensored. X1K is asking whether there's a link on setting up a mining node. Do you have any sort of tutorials? Or?
Yeah, there is. So we have a knowledge base at the Sentinel website has a knowledge base, and I have tweeted it out. I can tweet it out again. I'll tweet it out after this call, and it'll be at the top of my Twitter account. And also you can ask in the Sentinel channel, but there's a link on the process to set up a mining node.
Let me actually, so it's on your Twitter, because then I can post the tweet right here in the chat.
I'll get it 1 sec.
Taco Tuesday.
We can keep going.
Yeah.
Someone in the chat in the channel can.
Oh yeah, maybe you can send it to me and then I can share it in the chat right now. There's another good question from Marco, who is asking whether there could be any problems with lending bandwidth, for example, if it's used in illegal activities by someone.
Yeah, so that if you're offering bandwidth to the network as an exit node, there could be different legal liabilities depending on the jurisdiction you live in and what are the implications of that. There is a good website that I can also share with Cryptocito to put in the chat. And I sent it over to you on Telegram, the knowledge base link. So, and then I'll also send over that link right now. But it's basically guidance on what are the implications of running an exit node, what are some of the legal past precedents that have been set in different jurisdictions on what happens if you're being a part of a distributed network and you can prove you're part of a distributed network, and what are the best practices for running a node. Obviously, you don't want to be logging data, and there's a lot of different jurisdictions where some of this has already been ironed out. But if the authorities were to ever come to you, I would always recommend that you comply and prove that you are part of a distributed network and that you're not logging data. But this is something to look into before you do decide to be an exit node.
RB is saying this is the best live stream on YouTube right now. I agree. It's very good. And by the way, we'll have a Cosmos Hub Twitter Spaces with Billy Rennekamp coming up right after this. So we're going to go over to Twitter and we'll have more Cosmos content right there in a few minutes. What else do we have? The Huddle Drop, we covered it. Jane is asking, collab DVPN miner with Akash Super Mini would be nice. Is that
That's awesome. I love that. I don't know the status right now of the Koch Super Mini. I'll follow up with that with their team. But we're always open to collaborations for hardware devices. So I already talked about the Handy Host, where you can offer bandwidth and start mining it easily. And that Handy Host also offers the ability to offer your to earn AKT tokens by offering your cloud compute. And you also earn SIA coin tokens for Skynet Labs for offering your storage, and then you also earn HNS handshake tokens by resolving handshake domains. And all products built on the Sentinel network, including the Exidio DVPN, natively resolve handshake domains. And I think that the handshake network is a really cool project, decentralizing DNS.
Nice. Dennis is asking mobile desktop version. We covered this. Q1, most of it will be shipped.
That's the plan by end of Q1 for Windows, and by the end of this month for Linux and Mac.
Nice. John is saying stacking DVPN daily from Osmosis LP rewards.
There it is.
Nice. What else do we have? Well, here's a more general question from Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
What struggles do you see in the competitor space? I think you already covered the traditional competitor side, but maybe you can talk a little bit about the crypto competitors in that field.
Yeah, well, I see that the main competitors are the traditional Web2 companies. And in projects that are also building a truly peer-to-peer open source network and they want to incentivize it, we want to find ways that we can collaborate with them. So like I shared a link that CryptoCito can share out as far as what the implications of running an exit node and what to know and how to run a best practice of an exit node. That's a part of the DVPN Alliance. And that's with us and Mysterium. And Mysterium is also it has a decentralized peer-to-peer bandwidth marketplace. And they've also taken off and they've done well. And they were on Ethereum. And I think that they've pivoted as well because they've had some challenges at Ethereum. But I think as more projects like connect with IBC, we're going to look for more integrations. So I don't want to be hyper competitive with other projects that are actually doing truly open source peer-to-peer networks. I want to collaborate with them. And then other companies that are running traditional business models and, having high profit margins because they're honestly gouging customers. If they want to come clean and actually run their network on an open source peer-to-peer network, we're happy to help them make that pivot in their business model.
Nice. Tenement Timmy has a question around whether there are issues on lesser known Android brands. I think the best would probably be to ask in the Telegram chat.
Yeah, but he is right. That's like I said, iOS has been really functioning perfectly. But we have had a little bit of challenges with certain different devices that are not as common. Doing Android development is really tricky because it doesn't always work at the same way on every device. So to your point, Timmy, that's something that we're still iterating on, and every time we get like a different device and a different kink, we work that out. So feel free to jump in and share the challenges you're having in Telegram, and we'll work on getting those fixed.
Awesome. As we wrap things up, what are some of the highlights? We talked about the desktop app. We talked about also the updated app where you have subscription models. What are some of the highlights that are coming in the next couple of months? So that next time we do this interview, we have 1 million active users.
I don't know if we'll get to 1 million, and well, hopefully we don't take that long. Let's get on. Let's do a video in a couple months here at the most. I mean, definitely those are the main things. We want to make sure that the mobile applications are strong and that we do a strong marketing push to really start getting those out. I want to see a ton of like normies that are just using VPN or looking into privacy or security online being like, okay, well, I could use Nord or I could use Exidio. Why would I use Exidio? And they understand the value and it's actually cheaper. So we really want to push mobile apps and have a traditional subscription plan. And then we really want to make sure that everyone, especially like you said in crypto, that's using their laptops, have a secure VPN for desktop. And then we really want to start focusing on hardware as well. So still a ton ahead of us. We've all been working really hard. And on our side too, we continue to grow the team. If you're interested in working at Exidio, or especially if you would like to work with us at our office in Bangalore, please let me know. We want to continue to push and grow our team. And I'm really excited about the router with Solar Labs. Working with Solar Labs has been awesome as well.
Excellent. Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to the desktop app. I think this could bring in a whole bunch of users. Yeah.
Wait, I'm gonna go grab real quick. I have a prototype router. If I can, I gotta find it really quick.
We have a reveal here. We have an alpha leak here. But yeah, I really, really strongly encourage everyone who is watching this right now, set up your VPN, at least in the best case DVPN, but use VPNs when you're browsing. It's just secure and you're more private. So especially in the crypto industry where you deal with private keys and seed phrases and wallets, I think that makes a lot of sense. And while Dan is getting the prototype, right after this, actually in a few minutes, we have a Twitter Spaces with Billy Rennekamp around the Cosmos Hub. So make sure you don't miss out on that one either. So where's the prototype?
Oh man, this is a blessing and a curse of having a wife. She's always cleaning things up and moving things around, and then I never know where anything is. We're like, we're gonna use it to make the trip. I'm going to see Coney Daddy in a few days. I'm really pumped to hang out with him. And yeah, I was bringing the router to him, but I don't know where it is. I think she's packing for the trip. I literally ran around the apartment and couldn't find it.
Yeah. Well, next time you show us the real thing. And I hope to meet you soon as well. I'm traveling around a little bit and we'll be in the US and hopefully can make it down to Puerto Rico before I head to Medellin. And then latest, I will see you is at Cosmos 2 in Medellin, Colombia later this year. Thanks for coming on. I got to run. I really appreciate your time though. And we'll keep in touch. Follow Dan on Twitter. What is it? D with 16 E's? What is it?
Yeah, 4 E's.
4 E's. DEEDLE. Okay, deal. So I'll link the Twitter profile here, so you can follow him, follow Sentinel and Exidio, and yeah, we'll catch up soon, man.
Awesome.
Take care.
Appreciate it, bro.
See you.